if you see the image is clear, but then this is also another example. You see what is happening here. So this is some of the water and the dust that they are trying to cause. So hydraulicking can cause a lot of havoc if you are using this type of mineral, this type of approach to mine. Even if there are trees standing on soft material and you have that kind of device, you can cause all those trees to break down. So dredge mining. So dredge mining is a method often used to bring up underwater mineral deposit. Although dredging is usually employed to clear or enlarge waterways for boats, it can also be used to recover significant amounts of. So just like I was saying, dredging can be for any purpose. The term dredging can be used for any purpose. So if you are living in large cities where you see people use backhoes to scoop gutters to make sure gutters are clean and whatnot, they are all dredging techniques. So it's just like you having something sitting underwater and you want to scoop that thing out, you are doing dredging. But then we have another approach for mining. So this one like this, you see we saw something called the bucket wheel excavator that was scooping materials and traveling through conveyor belt. But look at this one. This is also a bucket dredge. Well, let's see if we can get a video of how a dredge looks like. I want to bucket line dredge. Yes. So let me get the video for you. So these ones you can find a number of them on the internet to see and admire how they operate. So this one thing has buckets in it. The bucket goes down the water, scoop the material and try to climb a ladder. So you see they said bucket ladder because they have arranged the buckets of the machine in the form of ladder ascended. So the materials are scooped and it ascends some kind of a ladder and dump onto a system that will shake it and get only the smaller size particles materials onto the processing plant and leave the stones. They don't want that. They dump the stone somewhere. There's a form of a ladder. That's what we call a bucket ladder. So we name these ones based on how the buckets operate or the buckets are arranged in the device. So that is enough for the demonstration for bucket, rather how they work. So there are a number of them, which suction, the suction one cuts the material underground, which I think we saw yesterday. That device that was very huge on top of water, it cuts the material beneath, and then it begins to suck the materials it has cut through a pipe to its final destination. That is how the bucket, the suction cutter dredges also work. Then we have the bucket fuel hydraulic dredges. So if you want to know more, you watch the YouTube videos and then you get to know much about it. Our mining companies, none of them use some of these sophisticated machines we are talking about. And in other jurisdictions, before they give you the permit to do this, you have to divert the water. So for example, if I have my stream, if I have a stream going this way, you think that this is the low area where your deposit is found.
Yeah.
You have to cause a route to divert the water through this point and then block this area. So when fresh water is coming, when it gets here, it diverts and goes through. Then you just be working within this area you have found your deposit.
Okay.
For example, the suction 1, 2, you set up your plant far away from the water, and then there are conveyor belts. So as soon as it cuts and sucks the material, it doesn't disturb the water. So it cuts and sucks that region where the waste is and takes it to your plant for processing. So you are not doing the processing, but in our case, the guys will fetch the material, they dig, stand inside the water and dig. When they finish, they dump, they begin to wash within the water they are standing in, and then all of that wastewater they are washing comes back to the same stream they are standing in. They have not diverted the water, they have not blocked fresh water from coming. So it's just like they are also within the water like that. So whatever they do continues to flow. And this is some of the things that makes the difference from what they do. So let's have a look at what we call solution mining. Solution mining, we don't usually do this in Ghana, so I will just brush over that and then we'll go. Solution mining, when we say solution, solution is any form of wherever you have a mineral of interest and your intention is to make sure the mineral of interest dissolves. It dissolves into a liquid form for you to extract. That is solution. And so in some time past, in the future, Gophers used to do what we call the heap leaching. The heap leaching here is where you blast, you fetch the blasted material. Sometimes you crash, other times you don't. Then you set up, go through the necessary procedures, and then dump that blasted material somewhere and use a chemical you think can dissolve the gold mineral that you are interested in and pour them onto this heap of material. So the heap leaching is coming from the material you are going to pile and then it forms that heap. Then you create some kind of accesses where when it begins to melt the gold minerals, it will flow through a system for you to go and fetch the water or the solution that will be formed. And then you process that, you transport that to your plant and go and do your extraction, other extraction activities, and you have your gold. And this type of mining is what we term as the solution mining. So if I am blasting and forming heaps, then I call that heap leaching. Then we have another form we call the in situ leaching. The in situ leaching here is where I have a mineral that I think that mineral, when it is exposed to air, it is going to cause a lot of havoc. And so I will go ahead and allow in situ in mining simply means let the deposit or that thing you are talking about be at its place. It should be there. Then you will go there and meet it. You don't go and take it out. It should be there. So in in situ leaching, you don't drill, blast, and fetch the material somewhere and go and leach. You allow the mineral to be where it is. You drill into it, and then add any liquid, that any chemical or solution you think that it is capable of melting the mineral you are interested in the hole or at its location. You pump that in it. Then after some time, when you know at this point it might have dissolved the mineral I'm looking for, then you pump back, you suction the liquid you have gotten onto your processing plant and you go and do your processes. That is what in situ leaching is about. So for example, let's say you have salt stuck in a bottle. You have a bottle and you have salt stuck in it, and you want to pour this water, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to also break open the container, but you have been able to have a small access to get to the salt. So you only find a way to pour hot water into this bottle. After some time, this hot water will melt the salt. Then you turn the bottle and pour.